Greetings, Dr. Asri. Thank you so much for your time spent on watching our video presentation on our coursework project that we are doing on this course, EBQ2054, Research Methodology for Economics and Business. So, sir, before that, I would like to hope that you are doing well there, as well as the other lecturers and our course mates, especially during this very difficult time that we're facing together. But we will get back stronger. Yes, let's hope for the best. Alright, so to kickstart off with everything, I would like to first address, on behalf of my team members, the topic that we have chosen for our research is total quality management and the role of management accountants on organizational performances in public sectors in Malaysia. So that will be our main focus for this research. So moving on to the group members for this group project. The first one, as you can see, Georgina anak George, and her matrix numbers on the side. And then myself, Howard Duri. And then Ohkie anak Blun. And lastly, Theresa Kokaishin. So there are 4 members altogether in this group project. Now, moving to the very first part of the report is problem statements. So we have made discussions before this over what kind of angle that we are going to look based on the topic that we have chosen. So for problem statements with regards to total quality management and also management accountants, as you can see on the first point that we did, number 1, the vagueness of total quality management as an effective management tool that can improve organizational performance of the public sector. Now this is quite related to the topic that we have chosen before, which includes TQM, total quality management, and then we try to relate it with what's happening on the public sector side. Okay, so for the second problem statement is uncertainties of management accountants' role in implementing total quality management for better performance. Now, we try to raise questions as to how effective management accountants are doing their part by applying this performance measurement tool to its highest potential.
And now I would like to briefly explain about the problem statement. Based on this research, we have found that there are 2 problem statements to study about the relationship between the total quality management, which is short form for TQM, and the role of the management accountant on the organizational performance in the public sector in Malaysia, which are number 1, the vagueness of the TQM and the effective management tools that can improve organizational performance of the public sector. Number 2 will be the uncertainty of the management accountant's role in implementing of the TQM for the better performance. Now I would like to explain about the research objective. For this research, we have found the 2 objectives to conduct this study, whereby to examine the relationship between the TQM and the role of the management accountant on the organizational performance of the public sector in Malaysia, which are number 1, to determine the relevance of the TQM in the performance management of public sector in Malaysia. And number 2 will be to identify the extent of management accountant roles in TQM. Up next will be about the research questions, whereby based on the research objective that we have identified, we arose 2 research questions, which are, is a TQM an effective management accounting practice which can improve the organizational performance of the public sector? And number 2 will be, to which extent that management accountant role in the moderate the association between the TQM and the organizational performance.
Moving on to literature review. literature review of total quality management. Study to looking at the interactions between accounting and operations management (TQM) by Muhammad Zawawi and Hawk 2010 have significantly decreased affected by the interest in the new research such as intangible asset, balance scorecard (BSC), and economic value added. According to Muhammad Zawawi and Hawk again, they realized the research done on management accounting innovations and noticed that studies in this area were limited, with some studies focusing on the relationship between TQM and management accounting. TQM in an organization would require changes to organizational control mechanism. Thus, TQM has attracted to the interest of management accounting researchers. TQM implementation would require key performance indicators (KPI), which is one of the measurement in TQM system, to develop to include customer satisfaction. To the date today, only a few empirical studies on TQM have been carried out in the ASEAN region in 2012. For Malaysia, the implementations of TQM is still problematic, according to Mahmud and Hilmi 2014, with only a few empirical studies by Idris 2011, Sohail and Hong 2003 that had focused on TQM practices and organizational performance.
Up next, I would like one of the literature review is for TQM and the organizational performance. Commonly, performance is the sign of the accomplishment of the organizational objective, whereas the organizational performance is known as the output of the firm operation of achievement of the firm goal. Ramaya, Saman, and Low define that organizational performance is the result of the operation performed by organizational group. Venkatraman and Ramanujam state that the business performance have divided by three dimensions, which are operational, financial, and organizational effectiveness. Next, operational or non-financial performance includes product quality, market share, market effectiveness, and new product introduction. Financial performance includes with the probability and sales growth. Well, lastly would be organizational effectiveness is an extent to which organizational achieve their effectiveness. Amir and Fahan state that most studies have revealed positive findings, although there are mixed results in the relationship between TQM and organizational performance. Well, according to Daniel and Prajogo, discovered that the relationship between the TQM practice and organizational culture with the purpose of identifying the particular culture that determine the successful implementation of TQM practice.
I will be presenting on the management accountant's role in public sector and total quality management. In public sector, the important characteristic which is increasingly concerned on issues of strategy and accounting. Initiatives and efforts aim to modernize the processes of government and often labeled as new public management. The emergence of new advanced technology demand for more proactive management accountants who are now expected to become part of the management team within a business activity. Therefore, accountants must be prepared for changes in ways of doing accounting and to be ready to accept the challenges ahead. Management accountants currently are regarded as value creator accountants in the business environment, and they are different from the role of external financial reporting. Therefore, they are required to become more distinct true partners within the business who can steer the business to be greater success. In the past, a management accountant collects, interprets, and discloses financial data to the organization. The emerging philosophies of management, such as TQM and continuous improvements, are becoming a component of the management accounting system that gives financial and non-financial data. The management accounting system fulfills the requirement for information that upholds culture and which emphasizes on quality. As a result, the function of management accountants are changing, moving from assessing and disclosing business activities to collaborating with those of management science, sales, finance, and other experts in the implementation of contemporary management measures such as TQM. In this context, management accountants are becoming business analysts as well as internal advisors of the organization, rather than only a support staff who provides the line manager with supplementary services. The function description applied on management accountants today is because of their function to aid the management openness in the decision-making process. Numerous studies have deliberated the role of management accountants in their organizations from several viewpoints. Few have discussed or analyzed the functions of the management accountant in quality management programs. The following table was extracted from Cockrell and Mayer 2012, indicating the role of management accountants in TQM. Preventive strategies were taken by management accountants to prevent the potential reasons for failure. To prevent the lack of customer focus, management accountants promote the service internally and externally, to link the financial data to customer satisfaction and to assist others in measuring the satisfaction. To tackle the lack of management commitment and involvement, management accountants lead by example and serve as a quality mentor for the executive team. These functional structures, processes, and relationships can be prevented by eliminating the departmental barriers and to eliminate the items which do not add values, including unnecessary bureaucracy. The lack of cost and benefit analysis can be helped by management accountants in assisting with cost analysis, to teach others how to use the analysis, to integrate the use of financial and quality tools, to estimate the effect of quality initiatives on profitability, to assist in prioritizing improvement efforts, and to identify the differences between process measures and outcomes. Human resources issues and process also helped by management accountants in the sense of identifying the training needs, to ensure the training reflect actual work practice, to align HR processes to support quality efforts, to ensure the data is reliant and reliable, and to share the financial data.
All right, so moving on to the next part of our presentation, which is a very important element that we have to fill in our report, which is methodology. Okay, so for this subject, we started off with population, in which we have three target populations. And they are the government agencies, public institutions, and other public related organizations. This is due to the fact that this research is based on public sectors only. And another interesting thing to share with you is that there is a continuation of what we're doing here in research method into another course, and that is public sector accounting. So it will be very grateful for us to have this opportunity to somehow find the relevance between these two courses and actually connect what we are looking for in terms of the problem statements that we've mentioned earlier. So, moving on, our sampling frame for this paper is from the Public Service Department Malaysia, or what is known as Jabatan Perkhidmatan Awam Malaysia, JPA. This is because they have the responsibility and the administrative to plan, manage, and develop the public sectors throughout our country. And also, any government agency in Malaysia will ultimately receive directives, so this is where it means a lot from the public sector side, in which the directives from JPA and operate legally by abiding the federal constitution. So we can see that anything that is related to the public sector side are receiving their directives or any orders from JPA, or you can say the governing body of this nation.
Methodology of measurement, adaptations of total quality management in performance measurement. There were actually 8 principles of TQM, but for the presentation purposes, I will talk about 3 of it, which is First is involvement of people, whereby management accountants and subordinates should be given a platform to contribute to organization. This will make employees feel motivated and acknowledged for their expertise in their careers, and strategize uniform work ethics for organizations to refer as blueprints for improved productivity. And second is factual approach to decisions making. In public sector, this is a serious legal measure to enable decisions that suffices the needs and best of the general populations. Government officials are provided with manual of office procedures, which highlights employees' daily operations, and management accountants may implement a system of analysis to keep track on performance. And lastly is mutually beneficial supplier relationship. Motivations for win-win between public sectors and providers. Management accountants should get used to the practice of monitoring suppliers and keeping close tab on cash flows, and conduct rigorous R&D on supply. Management top ensure government agencies meet their long-term targets in aggregate.
In conclusion, management accountants and TQM pose significant impact on overall productivity. Management accountants nowadays are entrusted with responsibility to analyze both financial and non-financial strategies and are pressured to raise the standards and quality of their reporting. They have vigorous function in assisting the public sector organizations to achieve their goals through provision of various TQM-related measures and reports. We believe that this study will make several theoretical contributions by providing empirical evidence concerning TQM practices in public sector of Malaysia, and subsequently will improve the productivity of public sector and the country's economic welfare.